Greetings, everybody. Greetings, everybody. Please, tonight, I am Stephen Williams. They call me the good bishop, and ain't nobody good but God. Thank y'all for joining me behind the veil. Wow, do I have a show for us tonight? I am excited. I am excited, excited, beyond excited to be able to bring this particular behind the veil on. Please get your neighbor, get your friends, tell them join in because it's about to be on and popping in this particular place. I am so grateful to be able to have tonight two people on the line so far that's getting ready to change our minds, change our attitudes, change our thought processes, and educate us about this thing called MONEY. And Mark was just telling me one of the things that I've been messing up is people with money talk about deals. We don't talk about money. And so for all of y'all, we got to stop talking about money and talk about the deal. I look, typically I bring in a song of the week. I have a song going on and I tell you all that. I ain't doing none of that tonight. These guys are very, very special and I want to hear everything that they have to say. Please get your questions ready tonight. Thank you again, Stephen Williams. They call me the good bishop. And again, ain't nobody good but God. And thank you for joining me behind the veil as I bring to this stage tonight. Y'all been asking for him. His name is Mark Jones from this area. And he done brought Powerhouse Dr. Joe White. And I want you all to receive them as they are coming and show some love as they are coming in on behind the veil. We ain't playing tonight. We moving right along because they got a lot to tell us. Gentlemen,
Hey,
Hey,
how y'all
thank
doing?
hey.
man, thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm just now meeting Dr. Joe White, and we're going to get to know him a little bit better tonight as we just chatted up. I go way back. You are with Mark Jones. Mark, I don't even know. Does he still? Do you still play? Do you? Because
Yeah, I still try to play. I
uh,
still try to play.
look, I met Mark Jones years ago as a musician, and let me tell you how Mark set me up. Joe, let me tell you, is it? Can I call you Joe?
Yep, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Okay. Uh, let me tell you how Mark set me up. So Mark wrote this song, a wedding song called "Since You," and Mark told me, "Come to the studio. I need you to come to the studio, man. I need." He said, "Steve, I need you to do this song for me." Right. All of 20, 25 minutes. I said, "Okay." I did the song about 20, 25 minutes, and I went on about my business. Next thing I know, I'm listening to 97.1 and the
Wow,
song done traveled all over. He done put the song out.
wow.
It's done traveled all over. Wait, I didn't even know that I was being played everywhere called Since You. And I knew then Mark had a barber shop. He was leveraging money back then for a car and something. I don't know what Mark. We look, Mark was ahead of his time, and we had
Always is. Still is to this day. And he will
still
set
is.
you up. You're right.
All the time.
So Doc, he set me up and kept me relevant in the music game and took me really out of gospel, right, into this marriage
Well,
kind of
well,
secular.
we did the plays.
We had done the plays. We did the plays together. And so Mark had set us up and always been a forward thinker. And so I appreciate him. And we're getting ready to start, gentlemen, because I your time is so valuable. And again, I appreciate you all coming on. And we're going to do this. And so we, Joe, Dr. Joe, we were going to talk about how did Mark get into investments, and how did you get? How did both of you all decide? Because I know you didn't wake up with the silver spoon in your mouth, right? How did this happen for you guys when you're talking about getting into investments and learning this thing called money? Mark, I'll let you go first, and then we'll talk to Doctor.
Yeah, so for me, I played for Mount Calvary for years. I would sit down, and Bishop Williams would mentor me, and we would go, and he would come up every Monday and teach me. And what he did was he taught me patterns. And when he taught me patterns, he said that if I learned the pattern and the structure, then I could play anything. But what I was really understanding was it's the pattern of it. And so most musicians are really good, they understand patterns, right? And I remember writing a song for Pastor Shirley Caesar, and that particular album that I was on won a Grammy. And I thought that I was big and bad, and I went out and got a car, and I didn't realize that I had gotten in debt, and my royalty checks would only come in every 3 months. And
Yep.
a gentleman, they came out and they repossessed my car, and I thought I had misplaced my car because I had parked it at the same place, and it came out and it was gone. And when that happened, I made the conscious decision that I would never ever let another man take anything from me
Ooh.
because I felt powerless.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from there, I really started wanting to understand money. And so I remember going to Bishop Williams, uh, privately. I mean, he poured so much into me, and I remember him telling me, I said, I said to him, I said, Bishop, why is the same people in the same prayer line asking for the same deliverance when the deliverance can don't, once you deliver, that's it. Why are they stuck where they are? And he candidly told me that the scripture said that I can do all things through Christ, but the problem is that they only think that they put limitations on their God. They put limitations on your God, Mark, because they got limitations on their God. They can only do some things. They can't do all things. And so,
Wow.
and so I started really understanding that. And yeah, and then the scriptures became life to me. So I
Good.
would I would take the scriptures and I would apply them in my everyday life.
Now another one of your friends just propped in, and the moniker says Prince Howard. So I
Oh
guess
man, you got to bring him on.
I'm Prince. You ready for us? I'm bringing him in too.
Hey,
Hello,
Prince.
sir.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing this evening? It's wonderful
So
Oh,
Tuesday evening.
so I'll
I'm
tell you a little bit about Prince. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm bringing him in, and I'm just meeting him. But I feel like my day just got better. I feel like my week I feel like my season just changed.
Hey, you are in your season, declare it. It is so.
Mark, tell us about these gentlemen, man, because I like this. I like what's happening right here. Tell us about this.
So Joe and I been best friends forever, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself. Joe actually worked for Pearson's Music. I met Joe years ago because he worked for Pearson Music on Peter Street Parkway years ago. He was a salesman in Pearson Music Company, right? Joe, is
Oh
that
yeah, I
Pearson?
was. I
Was it
was.
Pearson?
Yeah, it was
And
Pearson.
Pearson,
You probably
okay.
sold me something, man.
I'm pretty sure I did. Came to Pearson. I know I tried.
and then Prince is a music executive, and I'll let him share a little bit about himself. But he's a music executive, and he agreed to come on board with us as well tonight. But he's a music executive. Prince, I'll let you share a little bit about what you do. I know you're in the studio
Yeah.
now working.
Well, actually, I'm not. It's further out, so I decided I'm going to wait to drive that far.
Okay.
But yes, good to be on. Good to be on. Thank you again for the opportunity and for inviting me on. Yes.
So what do you do?
Well, basically, I carry a few hats. I'm first the last 7 years I've been a music publisher, and I have put together about 60 music publishing deals over the last 7 years with top producers and giving them advances and started careers and What I do is provide them with advance in exchange for a percentage of their publishing, which is a business arrangement which continues as they get more placements. So I'm a music publisher, I'm a manager, I manage producers and songwriters, and have managed artists in the past. Um, Over the last 7 years, I've garnered about 70 plaques for my work as a publisher and the music that we've put out through various top artists in the music industry, from Beyonce all the way down to Chris Brown to Moneybagg Yo. Now we're digging into trap jazz, and I'm going into country and gospel as well. So that's what I do. I'm an A&R, music exec, producer. I'll be moving over to Universal with Tim Kelly from Tim and Bob, as he takes on the presidency of Universal underneath Lucian Grange, and I'll be heading up the label and part of his team, his executive team, that will be handling all things day to day, as well as all his personal catalog and his publishing as well. So I've been in the music game since 2004. I was a financial consultant and advisor. I had my own company and sold it in 2009, and I was in the military for 13 years. I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated fraternity, and also a member of the Grammy board, which I was nominated this year. So, as well as some other things, but that's in the long short. And I'm from Atlanta. Pardon me. Do I sleep? I do sleep. I do sleep, and I get great sleep. I get amazing sleep, and I get at least 6 to 8 hours a day. And people don't believe it, but God has blessed me with the ability to be able to multitask and do many different things and do them well, as well as I consult and market and do a bunch of other things and help people with their careers. And I'm glad to be a part with Mark and his partner Joe as they're delving in some other things with me as well. And glad to just be here.
Joe, tell us about you.
Well, first of all, I feel like I should talk first because I feel bad coming behind these two guys.
No.
No, please don't at all.
Joe, you're amazing. Joe's amazing.
Yes,
I was
yes.
one of the first African Americans to teach on the national circuit real estate investing. So kind of after Carlton Sheets, I kind of along, and I would teach a lot of the Black celebrities. I would teach a lot of the Black athletes real estate. I did that for several years, speaking on the national circuit. I built 2 companies, sold them, retired for a while. Then I went to work at a place called CEO Space International, which is the largest business conference in the world. So just to give you an idea, Tony Robbins would come through there. Les Brown worked there. Lisa Nichols worked there. Robert Kiyosaki built his business there. Sharon Lecter, Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor and I have a book out together. Rest his soul, because he's passed on now, but he was one of my mentors and friend. And my mentor was pretty much everyone's mentor. So anybody you can think of, on through down to, he worked with Walt Disney, he pretty much mentored everybody. After I left CEO Space, I started monetizing my intellectual property. What I mean by that is I would do strategy behind the scenes for the Boxing Legend Hall of Fame. Pretty much every boxer that you would know worked with the Boxing Legend Hall of Fame. A U.S. Senate campaign. Even still now, they're trying to kind of get me to do some things in politics, a U.S. presidential campaign. And Mark came along and said, hey, listen, let's build something bigger. Let's do something amazing. So when he told me his vision, I was like, I'm in. Let's, whatever you say, let's do it. So I'm grateful and, thankful for Mark for bringing me in on his vision.
This is bananas. I mean, I feel like I'm amongst real good royalty, and I'm glad, there are some Caucasians that I have, but I am so happy to see brothers who you're excelling. And so this is absolutely powerful. And we'll get to that, I guess, a little bit later to encourage the next generation behind us about this. And so with Mark, what an eclectic group. I mean, real estate, music publishing, from Pearson Music. I don't even understand how you go from Pearson's Music to real estate. But all of this, what in the world? I brought you on here to talk about a hedge fund, and I feel like we need to talk about something else.
Well, a lot of times I think what happens is most people get hung up on, like most people get hung up on what you're getting or what, I need to get this or I need to be the head or blah blah blah. And uh, like right now we're working, and you all probably know this. We all working with the Isley Corporation, Ronald Isley, uh, and Joe is spearheading the liquor brand. Uh, Prince is spearheading the music side, working on that side, and I'm spearheading the financial side to make sure that everything is properly done. And
Now,
so
before you do that, excuse me, how do you all connect? How does this connection? How do you get this connection to like? How do you start that process? Because obviously, you gentlemen are busy in your own right. Like everybody is busy. I mean, Prince said he's been doing this since 2004. I know Joe. I've been here since the 90s, so that's when Pearson. So I know he was doing something. How in the world do you decide this is going to be my team? Where did you all meet? At a show? Y'all were at a show?
no, I think
No,
I think
relationships.
yes, relationships. Everything is
Gotcha.
relationship
Let's
driven.
talk about that. How did you have that? I mean, how did that form? This
What
I can tell you now, this interview is not going the way I had planned. So let's
deals and Joe, you can back me up, and Prince, deals are done by relationship. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about what school you went to. It's none of those things. It's about relationship. And I have to be able to lay down at night and trust the people that I have on the team. And another thing that I understand is that Joe brings something to the table that I don't bring. And I'm humble enough to sit there and say that. And it doesn't take anything from me. I don't I think the head doesn't necessarily mean that you is a dictatorship. Being the head and a leader means that you have the ability to see where your weaknesses are, and you bring in people that has the strength that you don't have. And so when it comes to, and I put Joe in position, and I'll put Prince in position, and I won't question them. I will say, all right, let's go with it. And they give, and I think they do me the same way. We all make decisions, and we'll give them the information, and then that information will make informed decisions to move the group forward. And that's how
did
we do it.
did you all meet just because is Mark the person that's in the center? Because I know he's both music and he's both finances, and so it is he walking around because Mitchell Goldsmith is on, and we are advocates of partnership.
Absolutely.
I think partnership is crucial, but getting the right partner makes a huge deal, man. Everybody's got to carry their own weight when it comes to partnership.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'd just be interested to see how did this form, and because it seems like you guys were very successful. Why would you want to stop what you're doing to connect, or kind of minimize what you're doing to connect to do something even larger?
Well, I would say Mark connected all of us, but I think anytime, even though you may be successful, sometimes you got to run with winners to create something bigger. We might can create something good or great on our own, but to create something legendary, we got to come together. And I think that's
Exactly.
where everybody comes together. I recently met Prince not long ago, but man, I've been, I think what he brings to the table is amazing. He's smart, he's intelligent, he's got great ideas, and he understands his position. I understand my position. Mark understands his position, and it seems to be working really well together. And I'm proud to be, associated with both these guys.
Well,
And,
listen, before you
and,
before
and
you go, Mark, Harold Lewis just popped
oh,
in.
bring him in. Yeah, bring him in.
We got everybody over here,
There he is.
the
What's
whole
up, brothers?
team.
What's up, man?
Good. What's the word? I'm talking you in ages.
I know, right? We were just on the phone. So those of you all that don't know, Harold is he's a phenomenal businessman. He's out there. He got that 40,000 square foot house out in St. Louis. That's where he at right now. He got gold. He got gold on his ceiling, man. Can you believe that? Gold on his
Hey,
ceiling.
wait. Hey, tell me the truth. I didn't put it up there. Now I bought this house in an auction. And,
Yep. Yep.
And there's a little story behind it, and I'll tell you real quickly. Is the guy who bought this house? I don't know if anybody ever saw this show, American Greed. All you
Yes.
got to do is
Yes.
watch it, and you'll see the house up there. There's a guy named Darren Atkinson that owned a company. It was an extended auto warranty business, making way too much money, over $100 million a year. And he paid for this house. I think he paid, they said $37.8 million for the house. The land was another like $4.5, $5 million. And it wasn't even completed. And he was out of his mind. Anything and anything you could put in the house. He put indoor basketball court, indoor volleyball court, indoor swimming pool, a shark tank that you go scuba diving in to clean it, two-lane bowling alley, apartments, a movie theater room that he spent $1 million for in the theater room, a library that has leather floors and a leather ceiling, and 2 stories up, and in the dining room that Mark's talking about, this idiot, literally, we got the video of it, melted with a heating wand gold up on the ceiling.
Wow.
And then on top of it, he also got in the main living room the Oval Office carpet from Obama, because he gave him a bunch of money and then he gave him the carpet. So I guess I negotiated a lot of deals in my life. This probably was my best. There's about $45-50 million in this place, and we beat him up and got it for $4.75 million. So that was a pretty good one.
Yeah. And so Harold is a sports agent, but he also sold the company. Well, I'll let you tell him, Harold.
Well, you get a couple of things going on. I'll give you a quick background. I grew up in New York, just in a corner of the hood. And I went down to the University of Tampa on a baseball scholarship. I was out there for 4 years. I played down with the Mets organization for a minute. Got released, tore my rotator cuff out, and got a real job. Came to St. Louis, Missouri. And a couple of things happened over there. I started working for a company as a national manager in photography and sales. And I didn't kind of like what he was doing, so I opened up my own. And we were very, very lucky and blessed that we became the largest in the country. So we did, well, I'm sure any of you shopped in Walmart, Kmart, and somebody harasses you about having your family portraits taken. Those were my harassers. So we had about 2,800 of the people around the country doing this. And then I got a crazy idea. I said, you know what? I think there's a new audience out there. Let's open up a thing called Glamour Shots. And we opened up a photography business and kind of geared more towards the women with hair and makeovers, crazy backgrounds, wardrobe changes. And we kind of branched that off. And then eventually I sold everything because my love has always been in sports. And when I was here in St. Louis, first got here, I started throwing batting practice with the Cardinals and helped out a couple of friends who were football players. The Arizona Cardinals that were once the St. Louis Cardinals practiced here. And I helped out one friend, became one of my guys in actually my wedding party. And then another one of their friends and another friends. And probably about 3 years into this thing, I had about 7, 8 players in the NFL. I said, you know what? I kind of like this. Maybe I need to charge these guys. And that's when I opened up National Sports Agency. And today we have probably about, 50 plus players playing professional football. It's been the joy and something I love to do. So that's what's up. That's the story.
So
This is a tremendous power team. And I'm so grateful to have each one of you. Each one of you has such great success stories about what you've done. And so, Mark, man, this turned out to be, let's talk about what this is. What's going on, Mark? What's going on?
So we all work together. I think Joe said it best. We know what each one's strengths are. We don't go over, I don't come in Harold's territory. I don't come in Joe's territory. I don't come in Prince's territory. I stay in my lane. And then I think what kills organizations, and these guys can chime in. I think what kills organizations or businesses or church or anything is, and Mitchell wrote the song called Ego, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that can kill an organization is ego. And if no one has ever heard that song by my brother Mitchell Goldsmith, they need to listen to it because it has a powerful testimony. But would you all say that as well? The ego, Joe, Prince?
Most definitely. I don't think you can be a good general if you can't be a good soldier.
No, definitely.
Great analogy. I mean, hey, listen, we all got the same amount of liquid in our body. Some of us move in, very blessed in life and things that happen. But the key in the success is treating others the way that you want to be treated. and stay humble. Just stay humble, and do it all for the right reasons. And if you find, my success has been helping people find out what they're looking for, whether it's Ron and Candy Isley, whether it's my professional athletes out there. If the more people that you can help find and help in finding their dreams, you don't have to ask for anything. It will all come to you. And you will win. I guarantee you, time and time again. And don't count the ones that you lost on. You lend this guy a couple bucks, he never paid you back, and he disappeared. It's not your loss. It was his, because he had a chance here, and you gave him that chance. And other great things are going to come across to you. But that's what I'm a strong believer. The more you give in life, the more you're going to get back in life.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I was getting ready to ask. Like, for each of you, what is your trigger to success? Like, everybody is there are more people in your business, right? But what makes you successful? Is there a thread? Because Mark and I talk about this, not there's a difference between, people having an idea, right? And then people, you have the same idea, but you don't have the same success. And what is it that you all have learned that is your thread for success? Is there a thing that
No, so I used to think, me personally, and I can let these gentlemen answer. I used to think that success was having a lot of money and cars and houses, but I think that as you get older, success means a lot more things. For me, it is buying my time back. I'm looking to buy time. That's all I'm looking to do.
Mhm.
Every person is successful in life, from the guy that stands on the corner to ask to bum money for a drink. Once he gets that money, in his mind, he's successful. Well, God will only meet you at your level of expectation, right? And so if your expectation is only getting a buddy, getting from point A to point B, then he'll give you a bus pass. So everybody's success has to look, everybody's success looks different. And so I don't know about these guys, but when I sit down at the table, I mostly talk about, how can I help you? When I come to Prince, how can I help you? What can we do? What can I do? And then, Joe, what can we do? What does this look like at the end? Right. And then we build it from what it looks like, and then we go backwards. Because, if you don't understand what success look like to you, then you'll never know if you got there or not. That's my opinion. What's you guys' opinion?
My thing is, I think success is, well, let me break it down with this. You got, number one, there's three kinds of people in life. I said this before. The people who make it happen, the people who watch it happen, and the people who don't know what's happening. You have to have a sense of urgency in everything that you do in life. And you do that. And again, I don't know what you guys' belief is in God, but I think that everything we do in life, it should be in his name. The glory goes to him. That's just me. And I try to teach with my players out there. Give the glory to God in every chance that you possibly can. And I believe that not in going out and preaching things, but in sharing stories of when people ask you, how did you do this? You came from the hood up in New York. Your family had no money, and here you have all this your success of the materialistic things. How? And I go right back to what I said before. The more you do for others, the more you're going to get back. But successful people have a sense of urgency. The other thing is, it's not written in a book in college. It's you have to think outside of the box in everything you do. There's an answer to every solution in this world. Every problem has a solution if we just think about it and work it and try to find it out. When you negotiate a contract for a football player, there's not a winner and a loser. There has to be two winners. Both parties never got exactly what they wanted, but you're fighting for the same reason. So that to me does it. But and I also, the other thing for success, and then I'll leave it at this: you go to bed with dogs, you get fleas. Surround yourself by good people. If you stay around good people, you can't help but to win every time.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say, Prince, the music game is vicious.
Hmm.
Like,
Of course.
I mean, how do is this a thread for you as well? Because each one of you are in such a
Yeah.
powerful place. So when we start talking about real estate, I can't wait to hear what Joe has to say about this. But I know on the music side,
Yeah.
how what
Right.
say ye?
well, first thing, I think I was always taught, my mom and dad. My dad is a retired bishop minister. My mom, minister as well, entrepreneur, nonprofit, business. I was raised in business. My whole family's entrepreneurs.
And civil
Uh,
rights, Prince.
yeah, out of Montgomery, Alabama. My grandfather was best friends with Dr. King and helped finance the bus boycott in 1955, as
Wow.
well as we transported a lot of the walkers through our taxi cab company, along with other African American taxi cab companies, back and forth to work. So for me, a lot of what I was embedded in us was relationships. A lot of what I've been able to build is basically built on great relationships. And a lot of what Harold said, hey, say what you mean what you say, and produce results. Results is really the end all game to everything because everybody can talk. We talk all the time. And in business and in the music industry, there's so many people that talk a good game but can't finish and produce results. So what I was able to do through my business acumen and through my entrepreneurship myself was produce results once I learned what I was doing, because there was a learning curve. And I went and I had attorneys, entertainment lawyers, I had mentors who had been superstars on the executive side and on the artist side. Larry Blackman from Cameo, MC Hammer's brother, who managed him to his $30 million deal with Capitol. Tim Kelly, who's been a super producer for the last 30 years. Just so many people. And what I did, I came in as a student and I learned. I learned every aspect of the music industry, and learning and having as much knowledge about what it is you're doing is very important. And then creating relationships and keeping those relationships and checking on those relationships even when they don't produce what you think they should produce, because not
Wow.
every relationship is going to produce you a dollar. Remember, the most successful people in the world, most of their deals are cut with people that they've had relationships over a long period of time that were not interested in a deal, but interested in the relationship. That means personal, that means spiritual, checking on them, all of that. So that's how I've become successful in music. Because, and then of course we have sharks in every game. We know that. Even with Harold being a sports agent, I know, because I have athletes as a financial advisor. So each of these industries have their sharks, but what you got to focus on is what your foundation is, what your beliefs are, operate in those, and stay true to who you are, what your foundation is. Because if you don't have a foundation, you'll be sifted from one side to the other side, and you won't know where you're at, and you'll be unsuccessful. So you have to have one singular thought, and that's to produce results, create relationships, and then wait for those relationships to mature and be patient.
Ooh,
Patience.
that's good. Joe?
Good.
Yeah, I think I think we all feel the same way. I break it down into 2 seasons. My life switches between these 2 seasons, which is seed time and harvest time. Seed time is when I'm giving my value, I'm giving of myself, I'm sowing into what I want to produce. So if someone has something that's more than me, I'm going to sow into that. I'm going to learn. I don't care if I got to work for free, what I got to do. And then there always becomes a time when I'm getting the harvest. I've sown into that relationship. I've given ideas and information, money, time, work and effort, and then the harvest comes. And my life has always fluctuated between those 2 seasons. And luckily now I'm in the blessing where I'm in harvest time. So I'm grateful for that.
Yep.
Y'all got me tonight. I am so floored to have such power in this room. I want to ask each one of you so many different kinds of questions. Misha says this. Look, all of them are wealthy, but they preaching on your live. Everybody,
This is my guy. Love Mitchell.
everybody is talking the same, and that's what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to make sure, because even though all of you have a different way, I loved Harold, urgency, thinking outside of the box, that relationship piece that comes with you guys both, failure, getting results. Because I think the difference between some people is that we make a lot of promises. Let me say it. Can I say it my way? People without wealth, success, evidence make a lot of promises, but don't come with no results.
Well, I would say this as well. I would say this. Most people, like what Joe said, and Harold and Prince said about the cultivating the relationships. And so there's seed time and then harvest, right? But
Yeah.
the most of the time people quit right before payday.
Wow.
They quit right before payday. They quit right before payday. Because they work, and then when they don't see any results, they give up and they go home and they try something else. And you're right there at the finish line. You just don't know it. I would say that.
Yeah, because when I'm listening to you, so Prince says he comes from business, right? He has a business acumen, and I'm not sure about Joe yet. But then Harold says, I do this thing, and all of a sudden, here's this idea. How much of what you all went into when it comes to business was like, oh man, boom, I figured out a way how to, how do you know this is your track? Is it the passion? Is it the...
Nah, so for me, I'll get ideas and then I'll bounce them off of Prince. I'll bounce them off of Harold. I'll bounce them off of, Joe. And then I let them pick holes in it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you gotta let people pick holes in your idea. Because and then we a lot of times when we're sitting on the phone, and Harold, you can correct me, and Joe and Prince, we talk about the problems. Like most people look at the money. We're gonna make this amount of money. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We always talking about there's a problem there's a landmine over there. There's a problem over there, because what happens is you solve the problems, you automatically are successful. So we're problem solvers.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way.
Would y'all say that?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What do you start with that? So when you come up with these ideas, do you guys look for the pitfalls first, or how does that matriculate in your minds for your area of success?
Personally, well, first of all, you go back to college. I think we all, when we went to school for a certain major, I'd probably say 9 out of 10 people never did that major. You go to school for one thing, you end up doing another. Because
exactly.
God just finds a path for each one of us. It just, some things in life are just meant to be, and it's going to be. You have to be strong enough and confident enough, and seeing that opportunity when a door opens, get in it. Don't let it pass by. I made one of the biggest mistakes in my life. I'll tell everybody this, and you can probably Google him. But one of my closest friends for 43 years, his name is Dave Stewart, Steward. Dave is the owner and founder of Worldwide Technology that did about 18 billion last year. Dave came to me. He was how I met him. He was my Federal Express salesman. And he was trying to get our business, and we were using, I think, UPS at that time in the photography business. And here comes this big damn black guy, probably about 6'4", 6'5", and he came in there and he wanted to get our business. Well, tell me more about you. You look like you played basketball. And he goes, yeah, I played at Central Missouri. And we started talking. So we hoop it up on Wednesday and Friday nights. Why don't you come with us? And he goes, I'd love to. And just build up a relationship there. And the next thing you know, he needed to borrow a few dollars for a business. And I lent him $50,000. And unfortunately, the business didn't work out. He came to me about 2 years later. He says, I have the greatest business. I said, now what? And he tells me, I need $100,000, but I want you to be my partner. And I said, what is it? And he goes, worldwide technology. I said, what is that? He goes, we're going to open up the world through technology, and people throughout the planet can see each other, talk to each other. You see these books and stuff that you have in your business over here, you're not going to need any of them. You see all the customer order forms and these cabinets, the file cabinets that we had, and maybe 1,000, 2,000 square feet of office space for that. You don't need any of that. And I said, Dave, I will give you the $100,000, but I can't work with you. I owned an indoor arena franchise at the time. I had Steve Atwater, who some of you remember Steve Atwater, a Hall of Famer player. He was my first round pick that year. My wife was just having her first child. We just bought a new office complex, and it was called National Studios Drive. And he goes, I don't want the money, I want you. The dumbest thing I ever did in my life. The door was open, and here he's probably, I know he's the #1 black entrepreneur in the United States. I think it's at $6.5 billion, if I'm not mistaken, last count. And something big is about to happen, even bigger for him. And he rubs it in every time he sees me. So you got to know when that door opens, you got to know when to make that play. But a lot of people, they think this is what I'm looking for. I'm telling you, you don't know what you're looking for until it comes in and sometimes can get you. And you create as you go. I never took a picture ever. To this day, my wife won't let me take pictures on my phone when I say, let's do the family shot, because I don't know what I'm doing. But we created this photography idea, and then we built it into a huge family portraits, and then into the glamour photography, and then into sepia tones, all these crazy things. And it was just, you use your imagination. And if you can dream it, you can make it happen. You just got to dream it. You got to believe in it. And that's, I think, honestly, the success. And, very few people like to be in that entrepreneur out there. Man, yeah. I can't take that gamble. I can't put up my house for risk. I can't put my car up for collateral. Man, I need that 9-to-5 job. I need to know I'm making this much and that much so I can pay my bills and take care of my wife and my kids. And then there's that very small percent says, you know what? I can do anything I want to do. Let's make this thing happen. And you open up a sports agency. You just do things. Hey, right now I'm still learning. I'm now working with one of the greatest artists of all time, Ron Isley.
Yes.
And I know nothing about his business. I loved his music, that I knew, but now I'm learning this whole new business of it. Now we're opening up another whole new business in the spirit industry. I know nothing about spirit industry except what I like to drink. And I'm not even a drinker. I don't even really drink. So you're this evolution of keep going and hit your bar and then find a new one to hit. Don't sit back. People ask me all the time, when are you going to retire? Well, my wife just asked me that, a couple of weeks ago, and I just said, when are you going to stop shopping? And she said, I guess you're never going to stop working. But even if she wasn't shopping, would I ever want to retire? No, I like creating things, and that's what you got to do. Create, new experiences in life, and that's what I think it's all about. So if I don't know who else is listening to this thing out here, but help people find what they're looking for. You will find everything that you never knew you were looking for, and you'll have blessings throughout your life.
Yep. So Prince, what was the failure that triggered you? Harold said he had a failure.
Oh yeah, the failure. I say my first failure.
I'm coming, Joe.
No problem. Go ahead, take your time.
The first failure. I remember I just got married, year 2000, August 12th. I come to my wife, my new wife then, and I say, I was working at a paint store as a assistant manager, mixing paint. And I was in the military and I was finishing up my degree because my third year I got kicked out because I wasn't doing any work. And I came home and my mom and dad said, we're not giving you anything. You're going to work for it. So I had 3 jobs and then I got married. So in August, I came to my wife probably a month after we got married, and I said, "Hey, I think I want to be an insurance agent and a financial guy." And she was in college finishing up her bachelor's, and she looked at me and she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "What? Did she just say okay to this?" So the first company I went with was Aflac Insurance Company, and they paid for my license, and I was mentored by a husband and wife. For 3 months, I didn't make any money. Like literally, I was on the edge. We had this new townhouse. My mom had given me a house, but I said I didn't want to stay there because I don't want you to be my landlord. So I moved us in this new townhouse, and I was on the edge of my seat because I had just bought a new car. The Ford Focus had just came out, and I went and bought me a Ford Focus, and I literally October, I remember it was in October because it was cold. I looked out the window and there was my car getting repossessed. And it was rolling down the street, and I looked down and I said, car's gone. She looked at me. She was like, our car, I said, it's repossessed. And she was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And so I was just like, I'm always a problem solver. So I said, well, your mom has that old Volvo. So let's just talk to her and see. And I'll talk to her because I'm the man, and I'll see if your father will give us the Volvo. He gave us the Volvo. It had no heat. The windows wouldn't roll down. It was one of those. And so for 3 months, I was going to meetings, literally praying that each meeting, I was dressed clean, I was smelling good, but I had 2 pennies to rub together. And I was like, Jesus, please let one of these deals go through. And the guy, this is crazy, but my family owns a barbershop and salon in Montgomery. It's the oldest salon there. It's the top salon. And I don't know if anybody on this call knows Greg Calhoun, who owned Calhoun Foods, which was the only Black grocery store chain in the United States at that time. My cousin cut his hair and was his business mentor. And we all went to church together. And so I was trying to get this account and get this disability plan in his stores. He had 600 employees. I knew if I hit this one, all my troubles would be done. And he did not believe that I was a Howard. Now my cousin is named Prince too. He's named after my grandfather and our great grandfather. He did not believe me. So one day I walked in my suit. I just come from a meeting and with my mentors, and my cousin was shaving him, cutting his hair, and he sat up and looked at me. Well, I came in, I said, hey, cuz, hey, family. And my cousin was shaving him, and he sat up and he said, is this your cousin? He said, yeah, this is Prince Howard IV. His grandfather and my father are brothers. It's the Howard brothers that started all these business. He said, oh, man. He apologized to me. He set me a meeting up with his benefits coordinator for his company. And I went to that meeting, and I prayed before I went in the meeting. I said, please, God, let this happen. And I went in, talked to him, gave him my spiel. He was very impressed. I had my suit on, dressed impeccable, and he didn't move. He didn't do anything. He would not do anything. So I said, I got to do another strategy. This isn't working. So I brought in my mentors, and they talked to him. That was the strategy that worked. When they met with him, the next month they signed the contract. So I'm giving you a failure and a success in the same one. Yeah. So they signed the contract in December, and that month I made $70,000. I signed up all 600 employees, and over the course of that account, I probably made $200,000 or $300,000, and wow. I got paid every month. But 3 months I was broke. Literally, somebody had to turn my heat on the sly.
I've been there.
And make sure it was good so we could be heated and we had food. But that was one of the most strenuous times. But one thing I always remembered was that my parents always taught me, when you can't go to man, go to God, ask for direction. He will use man to help you and put you in position, and you'll know it's him and not you, and you will always come out on the better end than any person can do for you. And so that's a failure, success, but whew, it was a rough one, boy.
Good
I
story.
bet so. Good story. Joe, what about you, man?
Oh man, well, I would say one thing. I think we all have a superpower, and a lot of times your superpower is going to normally be connected to your passion, because whatever you're passionate about, you'll do for free. You do it more, and then you get better
Yeah,
at it.
that's
For
true.
me, it's pretty much strategy. Like, I see patterns and paths, and a lot of times those paths go into the future. So years ago, I was thinking and I was coming up with these different patterns. And I said, you know what? It would be great if we had a credit card that we could just put money on and give to our kids when they're in college, a prepaid credit card.
Yeah.
So I came up with the ideal. I wrote the proposal. I spent the last of my money buying a suit. I set a meeting. I kept calling all the credit card companies, and finally Sterling Bank took a meeting with me. They were a credit card company back in the day who did secured credit cards, but no one had ever heard of a prepaid credit card. So I finally got a meeting with them. I got a suit. I flew down to where they were. I gave them my proposal, and they said, listen, I love the idea, but we have no way of actually doing this. Our system is not prepared to do something like this. You know, I said, hey, listen, well, is there anything we can do? Can we get the system to do it? He said, well, I don't see us being able to do it no time in the future. So I left that meeting and I actually gave up on the project. So about a year and a half later, prepaid credit cards come out.
Right.
They're everywhere. So now every time I go into a store, I have to relive that failure of seeing prepaid credit cards everywhere. Like,
just like me with Dave, just like me with Dave Stewart. Every time I gotta live that thing over again. It's like, man, you're killing me.
Yep.
So now I know not to quit. You know, like what Mark was, you know, people stop 3 feet from. I know not to quit, but also I connect everything into my passion and my gifts, because I know that's where I can do the most good in the universe.
Now, Mark, because Mark, you talked about repossession. Was that your trigger that I need to do more? I need something.
Well, what I started doing was I was cutting hair. So what I would do was save 10% of everything I got, and I would have envelopes in the car. So every time I would cut hair, I would go to the store next door, and I would set up. I would do 10, 10, 20, 60, 10% to God, 10% to savings, 20% fund money, so I wouldn't be a slave to the deal, and then 60% would be my bill money, and I would have envelopes in the car. And so what happens is if you take a watermelon seed and plant it in the ground, it's going to produce watermelon. If you take an apple seed and plant it in the ground, it's going to produce apples. And if you take a money seed and plant it, it's got to produce money. And so what I realize is that a lot of us don't know our name. A lot of us do not know our name. And what I mean by that is the Bible says that we should be the head and not the tail. We should be the lenders and not the borrowers. And so a lot of times people call us, when we go to apply for stuff, they tell us to keep our credit good so we can borrow money. But what happens is that's what we become. In Proverbs 22, it says the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is a servant to the lender.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I do is I figure out, and I'm pretty sure that Harold and Prince and everybody else think of this the same way. You can't get the return on your money until you first get the return of it. So most of the time, people are more concerned about making a bunch of money on their money, but they never take out the time to figure out what can cause them to lose the money that they put in. Would y'all agree with that?
Absolutely. Great analogy.
Unpack that some more. Talk about that just a little bit more when you say that. Now, give me a concrete example, because I think people are fearful to make that investment, right? Because they maybe don't have a lot of money, or they don't want to lose that money, right? I mean,
Well,
how do you get over that? Because you guys have obviously gotten over it.
It's a chase. It's a chase. So most people are running away from poverty by chasing money, and money is running away from them because money. Joe said it himself. Money runs away from desperation. So the people are chasing They're running after they running away from debt. They're running away from failure, and in return, they're chasing money. So it's a three-legged thing. You're chasing the money, and the debt is chasing you. So everybody's running in a race, but money finds you. You don't have to go look for it. It finds you. Am I right, Joe? Am I right, Harold?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think you attract money. I think you attract whatever you are. And you also attract with things by, like Mark said, the seed that you plant. And you attract the money to you, and that's when it starts to come. Because a lot of times you'll see people that have a lot of business ideas, they're smart, that's creative, they're talented, but they never seem to be able to make any money. You may have somebody else that you realize is not as smart, not as talented, not as skilled, and then they get rich. What's the difference? What makes one get money and one not get money?
Yeah.
The attraction.
Yep.
So Steve, let me ask you a question. Would you stay in a bad relationship?
I try not to.
Would you stay in an abusive relationship?
I will not.
Right. Money won't either.
Ah, got you.
Money won't either.
So do you guys have structures around you? Because when I was writing down, I was like, these guys have conquered fear, and y'all got some faith that's like stupid. I mean, y'all got what I call stupid faith.
Right. But also
except for Dave Stewart. You jacked up on that one, but it's okay. It's okay.
I think now for me, I have faith. I have faith. And then faith moves from faith to belief. And belief is a little bit more than faith. Faith is the substance things that you cannot see and that you hope for. Belief is I believe I'm in the area. I believe it's over there, but I'm not sure. And then it moves from faith to belief, from belief to knowledge. And the Bible said that my people perish not for the lack of faith, but for lack of knowledge.
That
And
is
then
true.
you move from faith, you move from faith to belief, from belief to knowledge, and then from knowledge to wisdom. And so as you get older, I use a little bit more wisdom. I'm not as uh, I don't jump at everything that sounds good now. I got a little bit more wisdom than I had before because I've experienced the knowledge. I got the knowledge from failure, right? Got the knowledge from
Right.
failure, and so everybody will come to you with a great idea. I think everyone uh, they can't see they have a great idea, but they can't see the pitfalls. So it's not the return on the money that I'm looking for. It's only the return of it. So if I put a dollar in, I got to make sure I get the dollar out before I can make 10% on that dollar.
Right. So let me ask another question. How much of this is you guys have just decided, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm focused? How much of that, because there are so many distractions. It probably when we started this, most of us are a little bit older. We did not have as many distractions as this group of people have right now. I mean, you can spend an hour, 2 hours on IG. You can, I mean, Facebook, whatever. How much of it is once I get this idea, I've become, because I'm going back, Harold, because I think we're missing it. The urgency. We don't, there isn't an urgency with some of us. We just kind of pick it up, drop it down. If it fails, then we do something else. But how much of what you guys have experienced is a lot of fun? Because I'm looking for this thread. I hear what you're saying. Relationships, right? Cultivating them, seed time and harvest, because you all have found a system of success, each one of you in different areas. And I think we've got to figure out to the listener, what is this? I mean,
So
faith.
okay. So from a biblical perspective, uh, Moses saw the promised land, right? But he didn't go there. It was Joshua
Correct.
and Caleb that went over. And so, and then Joshua and Caleb marched around the wall it was 7 times, one time for
Yep.
7 days.
Yep.
And then they said that the wall fell in a bridge-like format. And I know we gotta go, but the
Yep.
wall fell like in a bridge-like format. For me, there is the prophecy, the prophetic of what is going to be. Then it's the potential, right? It's the prophetic, then the potential, and then it goes to the promise. But between potential and the promise is always the process. And so that's where we fail. It's the process of getting us there. I think that most people focus in on the money side versus the process, and surrounding yourself with the people that can give you the things that you need. Like Joe come in, he run, and I'll let Joe talk a little bit about Ronald Isley Liquid Gold. I'll let Prince tell, and we all are working on the same project. We
Yeah,
all working in the different capacities.
and
But
because
we'll turn this company into $1 billion company for sure.
yeah, and because I know. Thank first of all, let me thank you each of you for your time. And so now let's talk about this Ron Isley connection here, because that's what this really ended up being. When Mark and I were talking, and he was just like, "Man, this is the team," and I was like, "What in the world have you assembled?" All I wanted to know. Ron is the sharpest dude. When y'all see him, tell him he's the sharpest, oldest dude with a cane that I've ever seen in my life.
It's
And
smooth.
I mean, if there's going to be a smooth operator, that's the one. He has not changed in years. And I'm a show enough church boy, but Ron is masterful. All right. And but this whole team together, you all are coming to make something even larger.
Yes.
So let's do that, because I know your time is so valuable, and I really do thank you for it.
Oh, no problem. I'll let Joe kick it
Okay.
off, and then we can
Yeah.
roll to Prince and then to Harold, and then I'll close it out if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we launched on Father's Day. We shipped our first bottles of Ron Isley Liquid Gold. We have an XO brandy. We also have a vodka. But one of the things that I think was important to us was to make sure that the product matched the brand of Ron. So we wanted, one, to make sure it was high quality. Two, it had to be smooth. And when I say smooth, not just like smooth, like regular smooth, it had to be outstanding smooth. So
Right.
one of the things I love about, I do a lot of tastings because I believe that I have to be boots on the ground, because I want to know what's the customer's reaction, because that's who's most important to me. What do they think? What do they feel? Do they like the product? And every single customer has the same reaction when they taste it, especially women, because a lot of women don't like brandy. They say, "Man, that's smooth. That's different. That's special." And that's what I was looking for. I think we were all looking for a team when we actually made the product. The product had to be outstanding. Ron has a great brand. He's a legend. He has all, he's history. I mean, he has an amazing history. And then we wanted to put together the right team to bring it to the public. So that's why Harold is here, and Prince is here, and Mark is here. And we all bring those special elements. Again, those superpowers. When we talked about everybody having a superpower connected to their passion, it's also connected to their purpose. And we believe our purpose is to work as a team to build a major brand. And luckily it's for Ron Isley, because he's an amazing guy.
I tell you what, me personally, I don't really even drink. I might have a beer or two every couple of months. Never really tried brandy, and I tried it, and I'm telling you right now, it's the smoothest, most delicious brandy. as the commercial would say,
That's the commercial.
hey, it's contagious. It truly is amazing. My wife doesn't drink brandy. I said, just try this. Ron and Candy were out here last week, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is delicious." I guess most of the distilleries only kind of do it. Maybe they put it through their system 3 times at most. This is done, I guess, I heard 7 times, and it is incredible. I got involved in this business, guys, purely accidental. And just, again, trying to help out the Isleys. And then I guess my role got a little bit bigger and bigger. I met Mark, I met Joe, everybody came to the house, and it was, like one big giant family. And, and basically my goal is whatever I can do to try to make it successful, using my relationships around the country, using my athletes if I have to, and try to make this the next $1 billion, spirit industry. And you see some of these guys out there, the George Clooney's and Jay-Z's. They're selling for, Jay-Z sold his for $750 million. Clooney just was over $1 billion. If you get the right one, and when you got somebody like Ron, he's not a retired rock star or a legend and sitting back in his rocking chair right now. Ron is actually more relevant today than he's ever been. Between a movie deal that they're talking about doing for him right now, and Prince can talk about that, book deals, the tasting that he has and appearances and signings, concerts that he's doing. I don't know how he does it at 82 years old, but I agree with you. Hey, black don't crack. he looks amazing.
He looks
And
amazing.
It's amazing how amazing he looks, and how he outkicked his coverage and married Candy. That's still beyond me now, because Candy's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But it's just an honor to be part of something and building process. And when we were all young, we used to enjoy building forts. It wasn't the idea of getting into it. It was the build. Building a photography industry. I didn't want to stay in photography. I just build it, sell it. Building a sports agency from nothing to one of the top in the.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh. Prince, you want to pick it up?
Oh, yes. And my part is mainly on the publishing catalog side and just providing a new opportunity, and then be able to finance the movie, the documentary movie on the life and times of the Isley brothers. And then, of course, offer my expertise in any of the areas that the team needs me on. Because my tentacles are a little bit everywhere since I was in the business world, sports world. And, so we have people everywhere that are able to probably be able to be of assistance and invest in the whole nine. So, but my main thing is completing these 2 deals, and then the record label, helping get that joint venture done, and amongst other things. So mainly from the music side.
Yeah.
But then offer my business side if needed, but not
Yes.
stepping on anybody's toes that's on the business side.
Because
Right.
there was this whole notion, Mark and I talked about this earlier, that there is this, everybody is selling their catalogs right now. I mean, everybody is getting rid of them.
Mhm.
I wish mine was good, because I sell mine right now too as well. Everybody's doing that. And so it is interesting to see how you guys are parlaying all of this to create this next level of business. Now, do you, Mark, and then I'll let you have final. So, but are you all still doing your personal businesses while you do this deal? This is just another deal on top of the deals that you all are involved in.
Yeah, for me, I'm always looking for opportunity. One of the things that a lot of people have to understand is there's never a shortage of money. It is the lack of understanding of it that is the issue. With the right, would you all agree with me on that?
Yes. Yes.
I just need to find out how to get it, since it's not a shortage. I need to figure out how to get that non-shortage over here at 160.
So own nothing but control everything. And then also you have to be able to manage growth. So if you grow too fast in your business, it will implode. Because as your business, you got to be careful that your business don't grow too fast. It will implode. So you gotta think about the product. You got to think about the market that you want to penetrate, but you also got to think about what it's going to cost you to get to that next level. So you got to be able to manage the growth of your company. You have to be able to manage the growth, or it will implode, and that'll be the quickest open and shut business that you ever seen. So one of the things that we're talking about Ron Isley Liquid Gold is being able to manage the growth. So Joe and I and Prince and Harold, and we got some more people, Malik Yoba, and we got some more people that work with us, but we started a company called Invest Tank. And Invest Tank allows people to both accredited and non-accredited investors to raise capital on what we call an emerging growth market on a pre-IPO or initial public offering basis. So Invest Tank will allow people to raise up to 5 million on one level, and then raise another 75 million on another level on an
Wow.
annual basis. Joe, you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. But I know. So we've been working on Invest Tank for a while, and I think we're probably about to launch around the first week in August. We're just waiting on our final approvals from FINRA. But Invest Tank is a crowdfunding portal, just like Kickstarter. But the difference we do with Kickstarter is we don't give away products, or we don't give away rewards. We give away equity. We give away ownership to the average person in big ideas. So again, we were talking about those ideas that people have faith and belief in. They want to start these businesses. They can put them on Invest Tank and come there and raise money to build and run that business. And we help them do that. Invest Tank is the portal. It pretty much automates the whole process. But we also have resources to educate them on how to do it, who to call, and who can help you do that actual process.
I need to be on the Invest Tank. Y'all got me tonight.
Yes, sir.
It look like I might need to get some more figures though. I need to talk to my wife first, because
Oh,
y'all ain't starting with no littles. No little.
no. You can start.
Oh, that's the great thing about crowdfunding. You can start and you can invest, or you can build from any level. Obama did it. What was it? 2012. Passed the Jobs Act.
Yep.
And what happened before is you could only invest in projects if you have a certain amount of net worth. I think it was $1 million net worth, $250,000 a year. Those investors, and that's the only way you can invest in the Facebooks, the Apples, Ubers, and all those. And that's where those people get rich. Now with crowdfunding, you can invest in those people, and you can invest smaller fractional shares, or invest as little as $100. And you can take in as little as $100. So that allows you to take money from everybody, not just the big money people.
I'm signing up. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write my name on the rule.
Oh, yes,
Right.
Write his name down.
Listen.
So I'll say this, and then I'll turn it back over to you. Everything is write, read, and run. Write, read, and run. Write, read, and run. It says write the vision, make it plain. They that read will run with it. And then that word become flesh, and it dwells among you, right? And so, a lot of times people want to jump right into the business, but they don't have an executed plan. They don't have a plan, because what happens is money will grow legs if it doesn't have a set. Oh, what's up, Harold? You back in?
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I had that was actually the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a player that is not happy with his contract, and I'm trying to get that done because camp opens up tomorrow morning. He goes, I want my deal done by tomorrow morning, or I'm not showing up. And then I got to have a fight with the player. And the one thing you asked about businesses, never let a tail wag a dog. A dog has to wag his own tail. I said, you paying me for my advice. You got to listen to my advice. So I'm trying to diffuse this bomb over here. So anyway, I enjoyed the conversation, guys, and I look forward to seeing everybody face to face.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harold. Listen,
my pleasure.
I'm flying to Atlanta, and then I got to figure out, Mark, I'm coming with you. We're gonna come to St.
He's
Louis.
in St. Louis. Yeah, he's in St. Louis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely come on out here.
I need.
He got apartments and everything in his house. He got a whole apartment. What else he got in there, Joe?
Just if you take the tour, take a fan. Get your little mini fan, or you walk around and take the tour.
Poor Joe.
He got a whole locker room.
You
got a locker room. You got a whole women's and men's locker room. You got a sauna. He got a what else you got in that house, man?
It's got 2-lane bowling alley, a shark tank you go scuba diving in, a huge gym, arcade game room, movie theater room that is like nothing you ever seen before, 2 apartments, big apartments too. It's got 7 suites. It's got an outdoor pool like Disney World. We're on a 770-acre lake with boats. Volleyball court, basketball court.
You got that huge elevator in your room, in the
elevators.
House.
There's 20 bathrooms. It's got a little bit of. It's got even a, what do they call, observation tower up in the top. If you want to look even the arch from up there, it's crazy.
I lost weight walking through your house.
You want to hear what's even crazier? Is that my wife is making me sell it because she wants to move down to Florida so I can burn up there in the heat. which I'm not a sun guy. I'm the guy underneath the umbrella if I possibly can. It's just not me.
For each of you all, I hope if I can hang out with Mark, I can come and hang out with you guys and get to know you some more, create some more relationships. Man, this has been absolutely wonderful. It is not, I told y'all, this was not the way we had it planned, but I think you have given us invaluable lessons on success. And I've written notes, and we're going to take it down. I'm going to watch this again so I can become and do and just be everything. Your time is valuable, and I appreciate whoever the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals is. That's amazing. I just can't believe they're gonna interrupt my phone call. You know.
Hey, I'll let them know you said that too.
Yeah, please. But look, Mark, have the last words. And
No, I would
thank
say
you all.
I would say that success is right. Success is right in the palm of your hands. I think that we all built with an innate ability, as Joe said, and Harold and Prince said. You know, we never really focus on the money. We focus on the deal, and we focus on the success of it. The money will automatically come because money is a byproduct of solving a problem.
Yep.
And you know, we can do. You know, Joe does a lot of coaching and mentoring, and Harold. You know, Harold is busy. You know, we just appreciate, you know, the opportunity, and I'm humbled, and I want to thank these guys because I look up to these guys. These guys are amazing, and I'm just floored by Harold and Prince, and I appreciate you, and Joe White, man,
Same here.
you my brother, and I'm humbled, and you know, all the people that came here and watched us and just, you know, just listen, and you know, it's business is not making money is not a really big deal. It's just, you know, like I said, it's not that complicated. It's either people want to do business with you or they don't. And like
Look,
Harold said, there are people that watch it happen. Say it again, Harold.
there's three kinds of people: the ones who make it happen, watch it happen, and don't know what's happening.
Right.
And that's the truth. But you know, I leave you the relationships.
Say it again, Harold. You went out. Say it again,
Yeah,
Harold.
people trying to call me back. I told them no. Call them later. Relationships are everything. And I remember there was oh my goodness, it was a long time ago. Remember the movie Jerry Maguire? Did anybody ever see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire, I had no idea about the movie. We're at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis the end of February, first week of March. And this is, oh my goodness, it's quite a while back. And again, right before we break for our lunch, they said, Harold, you, Lee Steinberg, who was it? Rosenhaus, it was a couple of us. Would you guys stick around for a minute? Somebody wants to talk to you. And it was some writers, and they were talking about writing a movie about a sports agent. So they asked us if we go out to lunch or dinner or whatever. And I said, hey, listen, I'm just going to get a slice of pizza. If you want to come and sit down with me, you ask me all the questions. And the questions they asked is, does a black player look for a black agent, a white player look for a white agent? I said, no, they look for the same color, green. That's number one. So I didn't come up with show with me the money, but that was the thing. They said, well, let me ask you a question. You're more of a boutique agency. You have what, 30, 35, 40 players? How do you compete with the CAAs, the Rosenhauses, sports stars that have 250, 350 players? How do you compete with that? I said, because it's all about the relationship. If you can make that person feel like he's the only player that you represent and you are there for him 24/7 and you're telling him what's right, not what he wants to hear, but what's right. If he's messing around and doing stupid things at nighttime and getting into trouble and cheating on his wife, and you got to be that guy. He's paying you to let him know that's not going to work. And here's how many other guys have failed that are better athletes than you. And if you build that relationship, even if there's one player and do it right, it's going to build up into a dynasty. And then it's so funny, about 2 years later, I get a signed poster, which you guys saw in my office, from Jerry Maguire, signed by Tom Cruise and everybody. Thank you so much for your input. It was huge. And it's about that relationship. That's what really it's all about. The better you have a relationship, the better relationship you have with God, with your wife, or your spouse, your children, your family, your neighbor, just some complete stranger. And just be there for them, because it's going to come back to you 100 times over.
Amen.
That's it.
Well said. Gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining me Stephen Williams. They call me the good bishop. Ain't nobody good but God. Thank you for joining me behind the veil, giving us some little insight. The best of the most success on your venture. And hopefully I'll get an opportunity to see you guys soon sometime. Don't sell the house yet. I want to see the gold ceiling.
We'll give you a tour. Poor Joe, when he walked around this thing over here, honestly, I think Joe lost about 7-8 pounds.
Don't wear a suit and bring a fan.
Yep.
Two pieces of advice I give you.
No suits. No
No
suits.
suit. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We will be
No
in
problem.
touch, man. This
Thank
has
you
been
so much.
invaluable.
Thank
Y'all
you.
be great, and God's blessings on all of you and every one of your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you
Hey,
so much.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.